taken on a ship, taken as a slave. You said we were the ones who were depraved, but it was you who took us on the good ship, Jesus, which you told me was my Savior. But my Savior is Yahushua HaMashiach, the one who died for me. Didn't want us to find out who we are. Didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. That we are the chosen ones. You didn't want us to find out who we are. You didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. So you lied to us. Took our name from us, stole our identity, stole our language. You didn't want us to write or read. Now our eyes are wide open and we can see. Shot us, killed us, raped us, robbed us, sold us into slavery, threw us into the Atlantic, left us for dead, drug us behind the horses and flogged us, even raped our men. Breaking sex bomb, lynched us and forced us to breastfeed your babies, not to mention the devil's punch bowl, which you tried to erase from history. Everything we learned, we must unlearn, for the truth will set you free. Come on out of the slave mentality. We are not a religion, but a nation. Royal priesthood, God's special possession that you may declare the praises of Him who brought you out of darkness into His marvelous light. You didn't want us to find out who we are. You didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. That we are the chosen ones. You didn't want us to find out who we are. You didn't want us to know who we are. You didn't want us to see who we are. That we are the chosen
All right, family. I subscribed to them when they was giving some good information about them shots. You know, I don't really go around trolling, but I really ain't got time. You know, I done had a whole life rearrangement. Okay? But it's starting to work its way out. But let me get on into it. Let me get on into it. Okay. Jeremiah 16:19. Let me show you. Jeremiah 16:19. O Yah, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge. That's why y'all can't get rid of us. Y'all ain't our strength, and you sure ain't our fortress, and we can't get comfortable, and you're not our refuge. In the day of affliction, whose day of affliction is coming? Whose day of affliction is on the horizon? The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. That's why it is important that you must know who the real biblical Israelites are. All you got to do is study the word, and you're going to see. All right? And shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. The lies are trying to hide the real history. See, they working hard. They are making investments in lying to their children. You're gonna make the children feel bad by teaching them the truth. That ain't how they say it, but that's what it is. We gonna call it critical race theory, which isn't taught in K through 12. We gonna call it critical race theory and make it illegal to teach the truth. All right? And I got another video for y'all. Weaponizing poverty. I'm not gonna do it right now. And I don't know when I'm going to do it, but look for it. Weaponizing poverty. These are a bunch of Europeans in agreement as to keeping Africa the way it is. That's them. Weaponizing poverty. Y'all look for it. Let me show you what the thumbnail is. Me and my wife been working. Let me show you the thumbnail in case you don't get to catch the lie. But when you see it, you're going to know what it is. Actually, I did that video first. But I want to do a little bit more critiquing. I want to do a little bit more research on it. All right? Let me see here. Let me show y'all the thumbnail while I'm thinking about it. Let me go. Hold on. Y'all bear with it, brother. I also got one in my head right now. Baptized in warfare. See, y'all don't want to hear this warfare talk, but that's what it is. Baptized in warfare. Who put us in this situation? We did by not obeying the Most High. But the Most High put us in this situation. He also, in Jeremiah 51, said we are weapons. He also said we were going to start attacking. We're going to go to work. But let me get into it. That's what the thumbnail looked like. He's pointing at a bomb over there that blowed up. Can you see it? I know it's a little bit of delay. But when you see that, that's what that is. Weaponizing warfare. I did that. I put the notes on that first, but I want to do a little bit more research. All right, now. All right. Surely our Father has inherited lies. See, when you cover up the truth, when you hide the truth, and you live lies, ain't but one thing you can produce. Ain't but one thing you can reap. You reap what you sow. You're sowing lies. That's what you're gonna get back. Whatsoever a man sow, that shall he reap. Vanity and things wherein there is no profit. All right. Now let me get to this video. These videos. I'm gonna try not to interrupt. But these videos, I ain't gonna lie. This is the one about the reparations. Now y'all.
All right, let's talk about reparations.
Now y'all saw that song. You lied to us. All these things these folks done did to us. Verified in history. Okay? It's easily verifiable. And if it's a lie, then state how it's a lie. Give me a timestamp. What's a lie? And state why it's a lie. I don't want to hear nothing else. That ain't. I don't want to hear nothing. All right? Here we go.
Because California is leading the charge on reparations, and this story is absolutely jaw-dropping. You have a lot of Europeans who chime in on the story. A lot of European newspapers. They're like, what is going on in California with this story?
Yeah, and how far do reparations have to reach across the globe?
How far do reparations have to reach across the globe? What does the Bible say? He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. Let me show it to you. You can tell I didn't plan this Bible verse because I ain't got it right here. Revelation 13:10. Let me see here. He who leads into captivity, Revelation 13:10, shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. In other words, the faith believe, the Most High's children believe this is going to happen. Here is the patience. We are being patient. You know how hard it is for me to sit back and watch this stuff go down and know they killing us wholesale. You know, the Most High keeps me in check. His word said, nah, tell the people. Let the people know what's going on. Educate, we perish for a lack of knowledge. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. What the verse say up at the top? Those that's leading into captivity is going into captivity. Those that's killing gonna be killed. That's why children of the Most High, you can't go out here and just randomly kill folks. It didn't say accept. See, no, but if they come your way, now, if you see a way to neutralize the threat without killing them, do it. But if it's all out war, you're gonna have to think about it. You're gonna have to weigh the cons and pros. All right, let me get into it. Oh yeah, let me put that. Pay every other group. That's right. Where is these folks at? They might have put some. Like I said, I don't watch their comments, but when I see stuff, they got their nose in our business and lying on us. All right. Nobody bats an eye, and Ukraine got an open checkbook. Where is the Republicans at? Fussing about this open checkbook to Ukraine. Where is the Republicans at? What are these Democrats at? Open checkbook. Ukraine, oh, y'all need some more money? Okay. Illegal immigrants. Who broke the law to get here? You broke the law to get here, but you got more rights than us. They gonna bust y'all to a place, put y'all in hotels. They gonna clothe you. They gonna feed you. Meanwhile, you got Jordan Neal, he ain't got no place to stay, and he said he's hungry, and he gets choked out by a white supremacist devil, a suspected white supremacist devil. They ain't worried about the money going to the illegals. They not kicking up no fuss. All right, they getting Asians getting money. I ain't heard nothing about the Asians getting money. I don't see the video. They might have them, but let me know. But I ain't heard nothing. When anybody else get money, it's all right. We gonna have ours too, one way or another. Let me give you a crash course lesson of how you know we gonna get ours. We gonna get ours. That 2,000 years of peace means everything that these folks is benefiting from right now gonna come to a screeching halt. That 1,000-year peace. Everything that's going on right now gonna come to a screeching halt. That's how you know we gonna get ours. Right there. I might not see it. That 1,000-year peace means this system is dead. And then the Most High gonna let them get back, crunk up again, and then he gonna come back and kill it once and for all. Read the book of Revelation. All right, I'm trying to get out my tirade, but hey, they gonna pay one way or another. Okay, you know I did last week the lesson. Well, I forget the name of it. Oh, God of War. All these folks is dead, then who they gonna leave with the earth? If I went over that in that video, God of War. Who gonna be on the earth? Mashiach said, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Let me pull up a Bible verse over here. Hold on. Blessed are the meek. Y'all just find it. Do a Google search. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. All right. That's Matthew, I think chapter 5. The Beatitudes that they call them. It didn't say the thieves. Blessed are the thieves. They go keep the earth. Blessed are the murderers. They go keep the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. The meek. Here is the patience. Meekness. Patience. All right.
jaw-dropping. You have a lot of like Europeans who chime in on the story. A lot of European newspapers. They're like, what is going on in California with this story?
Yeah, and how far do reparations have to reach across the globe? It's worth remembering that the West was not the only participant in the slave trade. That
You hear her? She said, it's worth remembering that the West was not the only participants in the slave trade. Do y'all see what's wrong with that logic? Do y'all see what's wrong with that logic? Okay, let's just say I get arrested for murder. And I go to court. And I sit there and tell the judge, judge, I'm not the only one that participated in murder. So that means you shouldn't prosecute me because I'm not the only one committing murder. Okay, how about the thief? I stole something and I go before the judge, I'm guilty of stealing, and I go to court and I tell the judge, you say, judge, I'm not the only one that participated in theft. Is that gonna work? Huh? That's the insane mental, that's why it's hard for me to deal with these folks. But here is the patience and faith of the saints. I'm telling you. I'm gonna let you play. I'm gonna play it back again for y'all. They ain't the only one. Since they ain't the only one guilty of slavery, that means you should leave them. You should overlook that. But tell the judge that. Tell the Most High that.
They're like, what is going on in California with this story?
Yeah, and how far do reparations have to reach across the globe? It's worth remembering that the West was not the only participant in the slave trade. That just as many, if not more, slaves went east to Arabic-speaking countries and were castrated so that they could not have subsequent generations. So there is no next generation of Africans to have any reparations to. So, this kind of context matters. That's just your little history.
So that's context, y'all. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. I'm going to have to let some of this stuff play. But that right there is fulfilling a scripture. Let me minimize my thing. That's fulfilling scripture. Some of us was carried to the east, right? Luke chapter 21, 24. Some of us was carried to, this is fulfilling a scripture. She's speaking prophecy coming true and don't even know it. See, we the only people, 21, 24. We the only people that this applies to. It said, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Revelation. All right. And shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. All right. Look at here. And there should be signs in the sun, moon. Y'all know, seem like every time there's an eclipse or something happens. Y'all ain't paying attention? Huh? Now, I'm not saying worship this stuff. It says signs. I look at it as a clock. That's how I look at it. Just because I look at a clock don't mean I worship the clock. The Bible in the book of Genesis said the sun, he created the sun and the stars for time, for seasons. It's in Genesis. Okay? So every night, pay attention to the clock. Okay, there should be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars. And upon the earth, distress of nations. All right? They confused. They going to be even more confused. You know why they confused? Because they live in lies. You can't see the truth if you invested in lies. You going to be confused because it ain't going to match what you seeing. The sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them from fear. And looking after those things which are coming up on the earth. That's why I'm not worried about these wars, none of that stuff. All right? For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay, how are you going to realize this prophecy if you ain't looking at the clock up in the heavens? Revelation got some more. But let me get back over here. Try not to make this too long. Let me let this play. I'm going to try to let it play, y'all. But this it's so much, it's foolishness. They worried about they worried about us.
Lesson for the day.
It's not just the United States. Didn't Portugal basically invent the slave trade?
Oh, yeah. She said the Arabs castrated us. You got whole postcards of pictures where they castrated us. But somehow, no reparations. Reparation by definition means to repair. You got whole postcards, lynching postcards of them castrating us. But she want to act like the Arabs is the only one that did that. My fault, y'all. She want to act like the Arabs is the only one that did that. Understand? All right. Y'all see the title of the video, so y'all can go up there, and you can go up there and look at it yourself. The name of the channel is Redacted. Y'all see what it is right there? I'm going to look at some of these comments. Let me stay on topic. Let me roast this. Hold on.
They made it as a business.
An
Absolutely
industry.
Right. They did not invent slavery. They invented the slave trade as a commodity. Absolutely, they did. Now, California is moving forward with a plan to offer $1.2 million in reparations.
And as a side note, and what she's failing to mention, they introduced a form of slavery, chattel slavery, that was never before on the earth. Their whole economic system is on our backs. That's why they can't give us money. If their whole economic system is built off of our backs and our poverty, that next video, sometime, y'all with it this weekend, what they call it, weaponizing poverty, you're going to hear white folks. You're going to hear them. But all right, this is different. They put slavery on steroids. We've suffered for longer than anybody else. We've gone through things that nobody else in history has gone through and still going through, and we are still here. So fear not. We are built to last. All you have to do is obey the word and trust the Most High. We built to last.
To each Black resident of the state. Maybe that's one way that California wants to get residents to move back because of the mass exodus that seems to continue since the pandemic. Activists, though, are saying that this is not enough and that their appraised value as a human descendant is $200 million per person. Here is one man, a reverend, making that argument at a state committee meeting this weekend.
Now look, I don't know who this man is. Understand? For all we know, you ain't never seen this. I ain't seen this man before. Any of y'all know this man. You ever seen him before? You have to watch it. These folks will go get somebody off the street and pay them to get up there and sabotage us. Who is this man? Look at him. He look like, I'm not trying to put the man down, but I've been on the streets. He look like he's strung out on an alcoholic or something. Not to saying that he can't speak good, but who is this man? Ain't none of them, Arlene, ain't none of them no different than Fox. CNN, all of them. We don't have no media. All of them. Notice, all these media corporations, hell, what's their name? Daniel Penny's name. How come all of them, everybody held his name? Huh? How come everybody held his name? All these media outlets. One of them slipped and let it in. Black folks got a hold and started saying his name. Then they come out with the name. How come all of them is siding with the murderer? Huh? That's how you know the fix is in.
We were given 40 acres. You know what that number is. You keep trying to talk about now, yet you research.
Now, I'm going to say this. You know what that number is. Okay, do you know what it is? And if so, why ain't you saying nothing? But anyway, I didn't watch this whole video, so I'm going to leave him alone.
Back to slavery, and you say nothing about slavery. Nothing. So the equivocal number from the 1860s for 40 acres today is $200 million for each and every African American. You're not supposed to be afraid. You're not supposed to be afraid. You're just supposed to tell the truth. You're not supposed to be the gatekeepers. You're supposed to say what the people want and hear from the people. So on June 17th, this will not be handed out here. It'll be handed out outside.
All right, we can stop because he's going to now talk about his barbecue that's coming up on Juneteenth.
So do we have any, can I provide some context on the 40 acres and a mule? Or do you have that?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
So this was, of course, still during the Civil War in 1865 when General Tecumseh Sherman at the time said to some freed families, we need to provide 40 acres and a mule for those freed families, to allot land to some of those freed families to kind of no larger than 40 acres. That was the plan at the time to kind of get them on their feet and basically get started. That was the proposal.
Yeah. Now, families is a key word there because it wasn't 40 acres per person. Mm-hmm. He's arguing that each person should be paid the equivalent of 40 acres, not each family. But by that argument, you should find a family and split up the 200 million. If that is.
Now, listen. She's saying that everybody, it shouldn't be so many million, 200 million per person. That you should find a family. You should have to have a family, right? But hell, they sold our men, women, and children. You see what I'm talking about, y'all? Y'all, somebody, what's it? Y'all, this is Karen. Let me see here. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's what slavery was. It was destroying the structure of our families. And here this heifer is talking about that we are somehow disqualified because they folks split up our families. Now we shouldn't get reparations because we ain't got no families. See, let me see. Surely oppression. Hey, but y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. Let me see here. Look, y'all. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Boy, I tell you. Boy, hey, because it's the intelligence. You see what's going on. You know these folks is nothing but enemies and they want to see us dead. They don't care if they don't care if we live or die. You understand what I'm saying? But all right.
The value.
And it was all.
Let me play it back.
So do we have any, can I provide some context on the 40 acres and a mule? Or do you have that?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
So this was, of course, still during the Civil War in 1865 when General Tecumseh Sherman at the time said to some freed families, we need to provide 40 acres and a mule for those freed families, to allot land to some of those freed families to kind of no larger than 40 acres. That was the plan at the time to kind of get them on their feet and basically get started. That was the proposal.
Yeah. Now, families is a key word there because it wasn't 40 acres per person. Mm-hmm. He's arguing that each person should be paid the equivalent of 40 acres, not each family. But by that argument, you should find a family and split up the 200 million, if that is the value. And
it was also the land that they worked at the time. So while they were slaves on a plantation, that plantation would be divided up and given as part of this, as part of the 40 acres.
Now, you know, that's not logical. How you going to get 40 acres? You know, how you going to get 40 acres? Let's say a slave owner had 250 acres and 250 slaves. How everybody going to get 40 acres? You see the mental gymnastics. You see, y'all understand what I'm saying? Just say if he had 100 slaves and 200 acres, how they gonna get 40 acres? That ain't but 2 acres apiece. You see how disingenuous these devils are, huh? I'm good, Brother Sly. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not too proud to say. I'm not too proud to say pray for me. Okay.
Mule.
Okay, so it's not necessarily
Just
like
random
sweet
acres.
California, beachfront property.
So yeah, Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah. While we in California, y'all heard of Bruce's Beach? How the white supremacists took the black folks' beachfront property? Okay. All right. Let me see what else. Something else she was just saying. Y'all bear with me.
Would be divided up and given as part of this, as part of the 40 acres and a mule.
Okay, so it's not necessarily
Just
like
random
sweet
acres.
California, beachfront.
Oh yeah. What about the land that they took from us? Huh? Huh? Look, where that land at now? How about you start right there giving us our land back? How about that? Huh? 14 million. We ain't lost no 14 million. The white supremacists went in there and stole the land. Raped the women, took the money out the banks, and then the government got together with them and brought in some old European peasants and gave them land. This is what the government does. Brought them Europeans over here and gave them land. Okay? Look at that. Where the land at, y'all? Just give the land back. And these are just farmers. These are just farmers. All of us, and then the government ran eminent domain and highways through black towns. The government now. I ain't got time to get off in that rabbit trail. Y'all just look into it. I should have put stolen up there. It probably won't even pop up the same. It might. Let me see. This same thing come up. All right. Let me get back over here on track. All right.
So yeah, Santa Barbara. It was like where you worked as a slave, you should be able to lay claim to that land now post-war is the idea.
Okay. And then what do you think is the present day value of a mule? I would argue a mule is a pretty good performing asset, better than even some land these days, given that the rate at which government is seizing land.
Right. Well, someone is.
She said a mule is a good asset today since the government is seizing land. She trying to say that we should go for the mule instead of the land. Okay? If you got the mule and not the land, what the mule gonna eat? Where you gonna put him in your living room? Huh? What if you live in the city? Where you gonna put a mule at? I just want y'all to see this stuff. My blood pressure ain't even high. That's how you know I'm cool. All right? Just listen, y'all.
Beachfront property.
So yeah, Santa Barbara. It was like where you worked as a slave, you should be able to lay claim to that land now post-war is the idea.
Okay. And then what do you think is the present day value of a mule? I would argue a mule is a pretty good performing asset, better than even some land these days.
Okay, land can be passed down to your children. That mule gonna die. Y'all see this? That mule gonna die. That mule probably be dead for your dog. If you get a dog and a mule, the mule will probably die for the dog. But the mule is more valuable than the lands, you dumb Negroes.
Given that the rate at which government is seizing land.
Right. Well, someone is in the chat here, super chat from Richard Smith says California wasn't even a state when slavery was around.
They actually report on this, and we're going to talk about like what is California's major sin, and it's mostly structural, and it has to do with the gold rush. That's a great point, because you wouldn't think that it would start in California. But go ahead. What were you going to?
No, I was just
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, again, these are just proposals, and the final report will be sent to lawmakers on July 1st. California launched this reparations board to promise monetary payments to Black residents in the wake of the George Floyd death. They have not said how much it will cost, but some economists say that it will be about $800 billion to the state, which is twice the state's yearly budget. $800 billion per year. Now, here's how that breaks down. It includes $2,352 per person per year. for over-policing and mass incarcerations of Black communities. So it's not even necessarily to do with slavery. Actually, almost none of it has to do with slavery, what they're paying for. Yet this man who lettered in track, because he's wearing his Letterman jacket, I don't know if it's track. He clearly lettered.
Might have been a 49ers
in something.
jacket.
It was not a 49ers jacket. It was a high school Letterman's jacket.
Oh, okay.
Look, this right here is a case for reparations by itself. Look. Discrimination in health. Okay, they discriminate on Black-owned businesses. And devaluation. Okay, hold on. Right here. Look at this. Mass incarceration. This includes a 2,000. Now, that don't mean I agree with these numbers. My argument is these folks think that we don't supposed to have nothing, and they say they are not guilty. Look at that Bible verse in Zechariah, who's possessed to slay us and call themselves not guilty. They ain't guilty of a crime. But look here. For the over-policing and mass incarceration of Black communities. Not only that, not only did we go through all those things that they earlier in that song at the beginning of this video, but you got redlining, that devaluing the property where we live. This is white folks devaluing the property of where Black people live, creating policy and laws to make sure that we don't get no wealth out of where we live. Okay? That's why this heifer said a mule is more valuable than land, since the government is seizing it, you know. Understand? All right? Now, this right here, the government, it's been found and thoroughly researched. The government created the war. They created the crack epidemic in our neighborhood. They put the crack in our neighborhoods, mass incarcerated us after they put the crack in our neighborhood, separated our families, and then talking about these Negroes is out of control. Now, we part of it is our, we got some fault in that. Because when I was out here, I knew right from wrong. Okay? I knew right from wrong. But I'm looking at the bigger picture. If this had not been dumped on us, how much better would our communities have been? How much stronger would our families have been? This is a conscious decision by these white supremacist demons to keep us poor and destitute. But there's a Bible verse. The Most High said He's gonna raise us up where we were sold. All right. But anyway, let me go.
And so he's bringing up slave promises when this money here listed is not even to do with slavery. It's due to over-policing and mass incarceration of Black communities.
Okay, what a reparation for that then? What a reparation for that? Okay, huh? Pay for that then. Just pay for that. It's a start. So she want to disqualify reparations, but overlooking all these atrocities. Y'all better stay, stay woke.
3,300.
And I'm not talking about this LGBT agenda that they try to conflate. We ain't got nothing to do with it. The mass of us don't care nothing about no rainbow agenda. That don't mean we hate them, but we gonna get this straight.
166 per person per year of residence between 1933 and 1977 for discriminatory lending and zoning, which also affected Hispanics and Asian people too, but sure.
Okay, so some of these stuff affected Spanish and Asian folks. Okay, Asians Biden done gave them millions of dollars. Okay, the Hispanics is getting sanctuary cities where the police can't go in there and harass them. They getting free room and board. They getting 3 square meals a day and they ain't even got to go to jail. But where is the Black homeless getting out of that? Is the Black homeless, is the Black poor getting any of that? Where our sanctuary cities at? Where is our free room and board at? Huh? The penitentiary room and board ain't free. You in there doing work for these corporations. That's why they over-policing us. Somebody got to do this slave work for these corporations. All right? And they done ordained us.
and $13,619 per person per year of residence in California for injustices and discrimination in health, and $77,000 per person for Black.
Notice she ain't saying none of this stuff didn't happen. They so smart and they got these lie IQs, they can't refute any of this thing and say it's not true. So pay us. Pay us. Look, him, you ain't even got to go all the way back to slavery. Him, pay up.
Owned businesses losses and devaluations included in that figure. That means a lifelong Black California resident aged at least 71 could receive more than $1.2 million in compensation. Now, I have a lot of questions about these specific things that you're paying specific groups of, especially because I am a Californian. My mom is half Spanish and half Hawaiian. So, she was raised in an ethnic population, poor. My grandmother, who is Spanish.
I'm gonna cry. She was raised poor. I'm gonna cry, y'all. Let me look this woman's name up. Let me show y'all. Let me see here. I looked her up earlier this week. Let me see here. Let me get some images. Hold on. Let me get some images. Yeah, here she go right here. Natalie Morris. Look at what kind of job she getting. She grew up poor, but look now. She done work for CNET, CBS. Look here. Boy, she getting all kind of good gigs. Just because, look, if I move to let's just say I moved to Germany right after they did the Holocaust. That means I have to take on the debt of Germany because I live there. I moved there. Okay? If my wife marry me and I'm in debt, that means she is responsible for part of the debt. Unless she do some legal work. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all moved here. You knew the history of this place. And you moved here anyway so you could get some free, what do you call that? Tangibles. That's why you came, so you could get something for nothing. Yeah, she identifies as white. She sounds just like him. But anyway.
Was a prune picker in Hayward, California.
Well, let me give you a clue. My ancestor was cotton pickers. Some of us was white supremacist killers. Okay? What does that got to do with our situation? What y'all need to do, if you think you owe something, go to the government and get out of our way. That's what you do. If you think the United States owe you something, then you go. You go and get out of our business.
She left school in the 3rd grade in order to work the fields. Maybe this community was not a victim of over-policing and mass incarceration, but for sure, zoning, injustices and discrimination in health. A lot of these things happened to my family as well. Is it my family now that should pay?
You volunteered to come over here. You volunteered. We didn't volunteer. Won't you volunteer yourself out of our business? That's what you do. Get over yonder and you go make your case. Get in line. That's what you do. Get in line. Okay? But you ain't worried about that because you're benefiting. And you're a white supremacist by your actions.
For something that we did not perpetuate and also were victims of.
She ain't perpetuating our situation. I'm going to tell you what she's wrong at. She is perpetuating our situation. She's in our business. She is trying to make sure that we don't get nothing for our genocide. She is perpetuating genocide. Y'all, but hey, boy, once the Most High open your eyes, boy, you see stuff that was there the whole time, and if it had been a snake, it would have bit you. She is perpetuating it. She's defending the crime. She's defending the criminals. Let me go back a little bit.
Zoning, injustices and discrimination in health. A lot of these things happened to my family as well. Is it my family now that should pay for something that we did not perpetuate? And also,
why do I have to pay for abortions? They taking money out my pocket, out my wife's pocket, and giving it to the Planned Parenthood. Look at here, giving it to Planned Parenthood. I don't want to pay for no abortions. I don't want to pay for no LGBT agenda. I don't want to pay for no money to go to Ukraine when my brothers and sisters out here on the street. I don't want to. What else we pay? I don't want to pay for no illegals to come over here and eat, sleep, and while my folks ain't got nowhere to eat, sleep. I don't want to hear it.
we're victims of. I'm confused about that. And who qualifies then as a Black resident? Can you move there now? Because again, it does not have very much.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Nobody bats an eye when our money goes to the Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 people. The people that ran the slave trade, the people that run the banking system, the people that running the Supreme Court. Nobody bats an eye when the United States gives them money. I forgot about them. I don't know how I forgot about them. Y'all know who the small hats is. Let me give you a preview. Y'all know who they are. These folks ran the slave trade. Nobody bats an eye. Let's see how much money U.S. sent to them every year. Let's just see. I'm just going to do a question. I'm just going to do a question. Look at here. They ain't got no smoke. They might not have smoke, but I got fire. Let me see here. Y'all know what's going on. You even got the pastors going in on the pastors. What's that, 3.8 billion? The pastors got all talking about y'all don't need nothing. But they'll get together and say, y'all come on, let's give the slave master some money. Huh? These dogs, y'all kick the preachers out y'all neighborhood. Get them out of there. How you got churches on the corner and then you got homeless folks right around the corner? What is the church doing? You ain't got to kick them out. All you got to do is not go. Huh? Look at this. USA. Where is the smoke for these folks? How much money is this? Was that 40? What's this? But y'all get the idea. They getting money. Look. Let me see when this come out. Y'all double check everything I say, okay? And if anything is an error, y'all let me know. This is the 24th of May, 2021. Okay. Look here though. The U.S. aid has helped Israel develop one of the most advanced militaries. Why? See, that's more money. That's more money coming out of our pockets. But you ain't gonna hear them talk about why should we pay for that. That ain't counting the other money that they send them every year. Because they think they the people of the Bible. But anyway, y'all just, hey, that ain't it. I would have said churches. Let me see here. Let's see how much the churches give. It ain't got the churches. I ain't got time to go into all that. But y'all know the churches. Y'all know the churches give them money. That's all they talk about.
To do with slavery at all. Here's how they decide who qualifies. It's determined that any descendant of an enslaved African American or of a free Black person living in the United States prior to the end of the 19th century should be entitled to reparations. If legislation is passed for the payments, the committee suggested that a state agency be created to process these claims and make payments with elderly Black residents being the priority. And this would be about 1.8 million people in California identifying as Black or African American.
And that's another thing. Oh, I'm going to wait till she say it. I'm going to wait till she say it. I'm going to wait till she say it, Brother Sly. I'm going to wait till she say it. Okay?
Now, again, this relevant question we had from this super chat, why, when California was not a slave-owning country, or state, rather, and it says that the preliminary report published last year.
Now, she's saying, why is California worried about reparation? But that long list that she went over, mass incarceration, the dumping of the dope in our neighborhood, Black folks on the street while you putting immigrants in cities, giving them free room and board. But she's saying why?
Highlighted how enslaved Black people were sent to California during the gold rush era. And then in the 1950s and 60s, racially restrictive covenants and redlining segregated them in many of California's largest cities. Again, I ask you, that happened to Asians that worked in the gold mines as well.
The topic is Black folks and our genocide, not the Asians. The Asians can get in line. If they got a complaint, they can get in line and go to them. Get out. That's all right. The Most High goes, let them do what they do. See, what this is doing, this is waking our people up. They doing our work for us. We ain't gotta go it's getting easier. I'm seeing more people that's hip to the game. I'm telling y'all. I'll be out here, I'll be associating. I'm seeing more. Used to be about a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. You talk to a Negro about what's going on, they ain't got a clue. Let them keep doing it.
Happened to Hispanics. There are a lot of minority groups in California.
The Asians who built the Transcontinental Railroad.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We should also point out.
Okay, what about the Black boys that y'all kidnapped and put in the and made them build railroad tracks? Oh, so y'all just gonna leave us out, huh? Y'all see what I'm talking about, y'all? Somebody got to see through the riffraff. Okay. They can't hurt my feelings. Y'all. That's why I don't worry about the opinions of my enemies, because I know they hate me. This right here, y'all should check it out. They kidnapping Black boys, making them work on the railroad, and we died more. This is worse than slavery because all they had to do was go get another Negro. But anyway, let me go back. It should be free to watch. I've watched it before. Slavery by Another Name. Yeah. Let me see what the picture should pull up. Look. The re-enslavement of Black Americans from the Civil War to World War II. This is documented history. He worried about the Asians because they got an agenda going on. He's worried about Asians not being compensated. Well, the Asians need to get up off their butt. And if they got a grievance, they need to get up off their butt and go to the government themselves. Get out of our way. Get out of our business. Look at this. There's a boy. See? Yeah, they lied. The Asians didn't do all that building. They might have finished. It's unequal. The scales ain't balanced. But yeah, it's all kind of stuff. Look. Look at that. Look at that. If these folks would do these to our children, why are you worried about how they going to feel about you? They can't hate you no more than they already hate you. Matter of fact, you'll get more respect out of them when they see you ain't worried about them. I'm telling you, you get more respect. That don't mean they won't kill you, but they won't just try anything. All right, but let me keep going.
The 40 acres and a mule thing, which he was stating as if that actually happened. It didn't actually happen. Like the order, it was a field order by a general, and then Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. It would never actually went into effect. It wasn't like then suddenly.
Just because it didn't go into effect doesn't mean the debt is not owed.
thousands upon thousands of slaves had land and 40 acres and a mule, and it was like a big... No, it was rescinded. It would never actually happened. So it was the idea of it.
Right.
Just to be clear about that for that guy.
Now, I think I've made this point before that, you know, let's say that this wealth...
I just now noticed she got somebody talking in her ear. Y'all know, I'm starting to believe some of these folks really do got calcified pineal glands. You know, I ain't really researched it. You know, and I haven't really researched it myself, but it was an experience. They you know, it was like a war going on, and they kept noticing that the white soldiers had more calcified pineal glands than black soldiers. Anybody got any information on that? Send it to me. Something is wrong up here, y'all.
Is then dumped on this population only in California. My point that I've made before from a great book that I highly recommend called Entrusted is that most generational wealth just does not pass down. This is a problem.
There you go, Brother Sly. Most generational wealth does not pass down. Okay, then how do you explain white supremacy maintaining the wealth since they got here? If most generational wealth is not passed down, then explain white supremacy to me. How is they maintaining all this wealth? See, and y'all need to look into some ways to decalcify your pineal gland. Okay, that's your mind's eye. Y'all need to look into that. Ways to decalcify the pineal gland. I'm telling you, that's why they try to feed us stuff to cloud our pineal gland. Okay, but yeah. She's saying, so listen at this logic, y'all. I might not get to that other video about them. Y'all give me a warning if y'all want me to do that other video about them, about their take on them justifying them justifying Daniel Penny killing Jordan Neely in the subway. Cause I might not. Y'all give me some warnings if y'all want me to do that. I might do it later, cause it's gonna be too long right here. Okay, it's gonna be too long. I don't, it's already at an hour. All right, I'll do it. I don't know what I'll do it. I'll probably put this picture up here. So y'all will know what it is. I'll probably put this somewhere in there. Y'all see it? All right. Now, I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna get to work on it. All right. I don't want to make the video too. It's just hard for me to let this stuff slide. But all right. So her logic is, since most wealth isn't passed down, then we shouldn't get no money. We ain't owed nothing because most wealth isn't passed down. Okay. If we get money and we don't keep it, that's going to benefit white folks. Think about it. They said we spend trillions of dollars. That's going to benefit them. So if it's going to benefit them, then why are they afraid to give us money? Because they know all of us ain't going to trick off our money. They know this. See? Let me see here. So we busy paying for houses. Let me look at this stuff. But y'all know what they said we spend how much money. Okay? Let me see here. I'm just gonna veer. Look here. According to Black Consumer Spending Statistics, black households spent an estimated $835 billion in 2019 and are projected to reach a buying power of $1.8 trillion. Okay, that's going to benefit the country. So what's the problem? They know enough of us going to be on code with our money. They know. If you're waiting on the enemy to tell you what's going to happen, then you can't read between the lines.
Wealthy parents don't, teach financial education, or neither do schools. So, while there slavery by the West did hold several groups back from obtaining wealth. Groups that have wealth don't keep it for more.
Okay, since you confess that this country is wicked and they held several groups back, then you need to pay all of those groups that didn't get compensated. You just confess your sins, the sins of the country. Y'all need to pay everybody then. They need to get to the back of the line. We've been here first. We've been going through it the longest. And these other groups have got some form of reparation, some form of tangible. We ain't got nothing. So you can go head on with that.
Slavery by the West did hold several groups back from obtaining wealth. Groups that have wealth don't keep it for more than 1 to 2 generations. So will this actually?
Okay, let's look at why that could be a possibility that groups don't keep their wealth from 1 to 2 generations. Could it be, as it is, a historical fact that you white supremacist devils go and ransack and bomb our towns and steal the money out the bank? Is that what's happening to the wealth? Could it be that you have consistently put rivers and lakes over our land? Could that be? You know, land is wealth, y'all. Is that why we ain't able to pass down a generation of wealth? Could it be because you got government policies that will not criminalize white supremacist terrorism, so they are free to steal our land, steal the money out of our banks? Could that be why that we are unable to seem to retain that generation of wealth? Huh? That is a historical fact. That is what these devils have done. That's part of the reason as to why. And then the government putting highways through the black town. You know, we had to live somewhere. We couldn't live amongst the white supremacists. Think about it. Integration wasn't until the 1960s. Okay, where did black folks live from 1885, was it 1885? 1865 to the 1960s. What's that? Huh? We had to live somewhere. We had communities. We had towns. We had land. We had our own businesses. Where is those towns at today? What happened to them? And then this heifer want to talk about the wealth don't get passed down. See, if you don't know history, you'll sit there and won't know what she's talking about. You won't see the insanity in her logic. You won't see the calcification of her mouth.
Help to raise anybody's children's standard of life? I don't know. There is no proof of that. There's no proof that, you need to.
We don't need proof. If you owe me, pay me. What I do with my money is my business. Pay me. So, okay, if I'm a junkie and all I'm going to do is smoke my money up, if I go to work, they shouldn't pay me because all I'm going to do is smoke my money up. That's the logic she's using, y'all. I'm not going to pay the junkie because I think he might go get him something to eat. He might go pay child support or something. The junkie. All junkies don't smoke all. I've seen some functioning junkies. So since I think that junkie going to misuse their money, I'm not going to pay them even though they did some work for me.
Than 1 to 2 generations. So will this actually help to raise anybody's children's standard of life? I don't know. There is no proof of that. There's no proof.
It's none of your business. It's none of your business. If you're not worried about the homeless black person on the street, you're not worried about the slave patrol killing us down and this reign of terror, you're not worried about the white supremacist terrorists who you're catering to, get out of that.
Proof that, you need to prove that wealth passes down, and it just doesn't. Even the Vanderbilt.
So we have to prove that the wealth passes down in order to get it. We have to be able to prove that the wealth gonna be passed down to another generation. This woman is policing our pockets. Come on now. Hey, let me get some smiley faces in the chat. Can I get some laughs in the chat? Huh? I compartmentalize my emotions. It ain't time for no warfare. Hey, I want this stuff is laughable, y'all.
Were poor within 2 generations at their peak. Now, my other lingering concerns are like this one I've brought up before when we spoke about the Dutch slave trade. Whose is it to forgive? Is it mine to forgive the pain of my ancestors any more than it is mine to pay for the sins of my ancestors? You can't have it both ways. Is it something that will repair a pain in you because of generations past? Is that yours to say, like, I cashed the check, it's all good now? Does that make it all good? Does this tell people who were not slaves that they are victims in a harmful way? And does it then hold them back in their life?
Now, go tell that to the Jewish community. Go tell that to them. Think about it. I don't even feel no kind of way because I know I'm in a situation I can't control. We paying reparations to the people that ran, that own the ships, the people that own the auction blocks, the people that own these media that's lying on us. That's how hey, y'all, I'm good. I'm telling y'all. Hey, I'm good. Hey, this woman, boy.
Cash the check, it's all good now. Does that make...
And she talking about forgiveness. She talking about forgiveness. What did Zacchaeus do when he met Christ? Y'all remember Zacchaeus was up in the sycamore tree in the Bible. He stole from some people. He met the Messiah. And he knew that there was a certain expectation, that according to scripture that got to be dealt with. Zacchaeus paid the people that he stole from. Let me see, can I find that? Because I know some of y'all ain't going to read, I ain't putting you down. That's why we here. Let me see here. See, can I spell his name right? Hold on. I'll skin it this way then. If I can't get it this way, I got another way I can get it. Most High just does, hey. All right, let me see here. Let me close that. Let me see here. Hold on, y'all. This is true forgiveness. I'm glad y'all put them laughing emojis in there. All right, hold on. Let me see. What he got? How his name spelled? Okay. Y'all hold on. I need to keep reading. I'm trying to, anybody know where that verse at? Well, Zacchaeus gave back what he took 4 times. Let me see, can I? Okay, Luke 19:8. Okay. Zacchaeus stood up and said, Lord, look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possession to the poor. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount. I should have kept reading. Okay? See, when you do wrong, and she done confess the sins of her fathers, and she done confess the sins that's going on right now, and she is a collaborator with the sins. So in order for there to be forgiveness, you got to fix what you broke. You got to clean up your mess. This is in the Bible. I'm only talking to these so-called Christians. Look here. All right. Let me get some more Bible verses on the poor. All right. Look here. Proverbs 19:17. One who is gracious to a poor man lends to the Most High. So you lending to the Most High if you are being gracious to a poor man or woman, a poor person. If you're helping the poor. And the Most High will repay him for his good deed. That's Proverbs 19:17. Okay, this is Mashiach. You always had the poor with you. Notice he didn't say not to give to the poor. It was his time to go. And he said the poor gonna be here. Okay. All right, hold on. For you know the grace of okay, hold on. Yet for your sake he became poor, that you through his poverty might become rich. Let me keep going. Proverbs 21:13. He who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be answered. This economy getting bad, y'all? Huh? America going down? Huh? The world as you know it is beginning to change, huh? He who shuts his ear to the poor will also cry himself or herself and not be answered. Vindicate the weak and the fatherless. That's why I say get these churches. You ain't got to run the churches out the neighborhood. Just stop going. Stop going to these churches and they're going to dry up and wither and die on the vine. Do justice to the afflicted and destitute. The rich and the poor have a common bond. Yahweh is the maker of them all. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Y'all get the idea. Let me get back to this video. Let me wrap it up.
It is mine to pay for the sins of my ancestors. You can't have it both ways.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to pay. The Bible says you're going to pay.
Is it something that will repair a pain in you because of generations past? Is that yours to say, like, I cashed the check, it's all good now? Does that make it all good? Does this tell people who were not slaves that they are victims in a harmful way? And does it them hold them back in their lives? This is the point.
How is these other folks held back? You look up in the hood and you got an Arab store on the corner. They getting tax breaks. They getting money from the government for their business. They ain't getting taxed. But when you look at it that way, they're not worried about us being held back. You got a Chinatown over here. The Chinese got their own police department over here. I already told you, gave you the rundown. So just disregard what she's talking about.
That Candace Owen makes in her book, that the Democratic Party has been doing this for decades and tricking Black people into thinking that their party is on their side while promoting policies that do not help them at all, and keeping them in a victim mentality so that they can't just burst past it and say,
not compensating us through this genocide and this modern day slavery. She guilty of the same thing. See, remember them Bible verses? Them Bible verses should scare you. The Most High said, out of your own words, I'm going to judge you. She is literally doing the same thing. She's guilty of the same thing she's accusing the Democrats of doing. I'm just going to play it again and go on.
Does it them hold them back in their lives? This is the point that Candace Owen makes in her book, that the Democratic Party has been doing this for decades and tricking Black people into thinking that their party is on their side while promoting policies that do not help them at all, and keeping them in a victim mentality so that they can't just burst past it and say, I'm going to take responsibility for my life, and I'm not going to listen to politicians making me promises anymore and bringing up past pain. And again, will this hurt state programs?
Now, y'all keep this past pain in mind. Keep this past pain in mind, okay? Remember 9/11. Never forget. Okay?
that are already hurting. So then, okay, Black grandparents get all of this money while their Black children are stuck in shittier education because the state now has used.
Okay, who runs the education sector? Whose fault that our people is miseducated? So here she go again, because we are uneducated and we don't know what to do with the money. That's a reason why we shouldn't get nothing.
Used all
The more this woman talks, the dumber she sounds, the dumber she reveals herself.
of its money.
Right. So this number.
Programs that are already hurting. So then, okay, Black grandparents get all of this money while their Black children are stuck in shittier education because the state now has used all of its money.
Right. So this number.
It's funny how the states don't use all their money when they keep importing these immigrants. They ain't using all their money. You understand what I'm saying? They vote to get the politicians vote to get themselves raises. They ain't using all their money. They got all this money. But when it's us, see what I'm saying? I'm drilling this in your head. Jackhammer style.
For the 1.2 million that passed the board, right? The numbers are it would cost the state $800 billion, right? 1.2 million per person. That's what passed.
Yeah.
Right? That would cost $800 billion. The state has $300 billion. So it would bankrupt the state immediately. On the 1.2 million, that guy wants $200 million per.
Now, you're right. These are fork-tongued devils. 1 minute, we ain't going to keep the money. So how's it going to bankrupt the state if we ain't going to keep the money going to be spent? Okay?
Person. Do the math on that. Think how there's going to be nothing left of California.
Right. And so, again, you might raise up one population and then just leave these, poor Hispanic.
You raise up one population, you mean like white people? Hey, I want y'all to pay attention. When you go to these jobs, notice who's doing all the hard work and who ain't. Huh? Notice who got the good positions and who don't. But she talking about elevating one group of people. White supremacy, y'all.
Think how there's going to be nothing left of California.
Right. And so, again, you might raise up one population and then just leave these, poor Hispanic and Black kids, in worse off. Teachers, police, don't get me started about defunding the police. And then another question, who would pay? Would California reach into the pockets of taxpayers who maybe have left the state? For instance, me, because my dad's Italian, that makes me white. Would that then...
There y'all go. One of y'all said she probably consider herself white. There you go, straight out the snake's mouth. Not the horse, the snake. Straight out the fork-tongued devil's mouth.
Say, well, hey, you grew up in this system, you benefited from these laws, let's reach back. This is not something that I would put past California, even though I left in 2008.
I'm just laughing. So many people in the chat, they're like, yeah, someone just said, I identify as a Black trans Californian, and I'm going to move there.
There you go.
There you go.
But I do think that this is, what Michael Schellenberger calls solving racism with racism. I'm not sure... who this is really going to help. I feel like, if you're somebody who is an elderly Black person, you might want to say, I appreciate this, but let's make sure it doesn't hurt my grandkids, right?
Right.
Let's make sure that they...
How is money going to hurt your grandkids? So, being in a ghetto that these Europeans crafted. How did they craft the ghetto, y'all? Redlining. Made sure they devalued the property. This is government policy. They created the ghetto. We didn't create it. They devalued the property, took the businesses and gave them to the China. Took the businesses overseas, took out all the money. That's what happened. That's why these churches need to get out the neighborhood. All they doing is taking what little bit of the money is in the neighborhood, taking it and spending it somewhere else. They created the ghetto. But somehow in her mind, money is going to hurt the Black people's grandchildren. Took the money out of the neighborhood and then dumped drugs on us. And then let us watch us fight like cats and dogs. Now, I'm not saying that we ain't guilty. Like I said, when I was out there, I knew I was doing wrong. I'm not absolving us. I'm not, absolving us of the wrongdoing that we participated in. But we got a whole lot of help. See, I wouldn't, if this stuff wasn't out here in my way, I would have bypassed it. Because I was working just fine. I was doing a lot of work. Okay? Let me go back a few seconds.
To grow up in that they
maybe,
can
but
succeed
let's
in.
be clear. I know that I hear your voice in my head, and I'm pretending I'm you now, which is let's not speak for other people.
Yeah, sure.
So let's not pretend to be an old.
That whole program is speaking for us, y'all. That ain't got nothing to do. Our claim to reparation ain't got nothing to do with them. Nothing. That's just like me getting in y'all marriage. Or better yet, okay, let's look at it this way. Let's just say I'm Ted Bundy, a mass murderer. I done killed a whole bunch of families, right? I'm in court. Okay. All right. And the judge, and my victims are going before the judge about me. Does anybody else out in the street got anything to do with my trial? Other than the victims? Huh? Does anybody, other than the victims? In this situation, we are the victims. These folks are collaborators with the oppressor class. It ain't what I'm saying, it's none of their business. Now, I would want to see a mass murderers locked up. Yeah. But for me to get up there and side with a murderer and say these folks don't deserve no justice is insane. And that's what these folks, they are siding with the mass murderers of America. They are siding with the mass theft of America. They are siding with the genocide and everything else of America in the court of public opinion.
Old black woman or an old.
All right, family, I'm done.
Right?
I'm done, y'all. I'm done. That's good enough. I'm done. Family, y'all get the gist of it. Y'all see the video. Y'all see the video. All right, I'm done. I'll get around to that other video later. These folks, I'm telling you, I'm starting to believe that well, Satan do have a seed. I've been thinking about doing a video about that. I've been yeah, another one. Something is wrong with these folks, y'all. Something wrong with them. Something is wrong with them. I mean, for real. That's why I won't try to reason with them. For me to try to reason with these folks, I mean, if they good, I'm good. But for me to try to reason with these folks, it's like me trying to reason with Satan. It ain't gonna do no good. Okay? All right? Shalom, family. Y'all take care. And y'all get ready. Y'all get ready now. Okay? You ain't got to fear these folks. We ain't got to worry about that. You fear the Most High. Fear the Most High, and you will be all right. All right? Y'all take care.
Me and all my troops, no time for a truce, there's only time for truth. No room for fair or regular cares. Stand clear of civilian affairs. Hold up, soldier, salute. If you're going up, salute. Throw it up, salute. Throw it up, salute. Soldier, salute. If you're going up, salute. Throw it up, salute. Throw it up, salute. On to the truth. Me and all my troops, no time for a truce, there's only time for truth. No room for fair or regular cares. Stand clear of civilian affairs. Hold up, soldier, salute. If you're going up,